What's up, people? Welcome back to Daily Red Devil for all of your latest Manchester United transfer news and talk. I hope everyone's doing well on this Wednesday morning. I'm doing really positive today. The sun is shining and we've got a massive show for you guys today. So do please smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel if you're new, and let's jump straight on into it. So on the show this morning, we are going to be talking about the Mason Greenwood situation. We have had some updates on that one. We will be talking a little bit about McTominay and Maguire because we have some more developments there. We will be talking about Todibo. Again, more news for that one. Amrabat and a few other bits as well. So do get involved in the comments section. Do smash a like on the video. Do subscribe, and let's jump straight on into it. So let's start off with some positivity. Let's start off with Sofyan Amrabat. Now, there's a story coming out from an Italian journalist. It was about 10 o'clock last night. And they're reporting that Manchester United will make a 26 to 27 million euros bid, plus bonuses for Sofyan Amrabat this week, which is likely to be accepted. Music to my ears. That is literally music to my ears. That was exactly what I wanted to wake up to this morning, because we had loads of people in the chat yesterday really concerned about this supposed interest from Atletico Madrid. I was a little bit unsure about it because the sources that were putting the story out weren't the best. They were, I think it was a newspaper in Spain. So it is positive that since we spoke last night, another Italian journalist has come out. It's not Fabrizio Romano, it's somebody else, but they've come out and said that ultimately a bid will be going in this week. Obviously, as we all know, it's dependent on Fred and Donny van de Beek leaving the club, and both of those players look set to leave the club this week. So yeah, it all makes sense now, and I think 26 to 27 million euros, I don't think a single person in this chat can complain with that. 26 million euros is 22 million pounds. Yeah, it will probably be somewhere between 25 to 30 million, including add-ons. No issue with that whatsoever. 100% need to get this deal done. I think it will be one of our best signings of the window. I really do. For that amount of money, you're not going to get a better player in world football for 25 million pounds, I don't think. When people like Moises Caicedo are being quoted 100 million, Romeo Lavia, they want 50 million for. I'm more than happy with Sofyan Amrabat for 25 million. I really am. I appreciate that he's older than Caicedo, and he's older than Lavia, and he's obviously a different profile player to both of those people. But for what we actually need at this moment in time, for the type of profile that Manchester United are actually going for, I think Amrabat ticks all the boxes. He's just a really brutal, hard-working midfielder, very physical, very aggressive, very difficult to get past, and I think he'll just completely solidify our midfield into next season, because there were so many matches last year. There were so many matches last year where our midfield just got completely overrun, didn't it? And I think that bringing in Sofyan Amrabat for 25 million will genuinely be our best bit of business of the window when you consider all of the prices and all of the rest of it and how inflated the market is right now. But do let me know in the comment section how you're feeling about this one. Are you excited about the signing of Sofyan Amrabat? Do you think 25 million pounds is a fair price? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I do always like to see you guys' opinions. Right, let's move on to the next show, the next topic though. Let's keep things rolling on the show this morning. So an Italian journalist, Alfredo Padula, has come out overnight saying that apparently Erik ten Hag's two top priorities before the window closes are Jean-Clair Todibo, okay, and also Sofyan Amrabat. We did speak a little bit about Jean-Clair Todibo last night. If anybody missed the show last night, Manchester United have now officially opened talks with Jean-Clair Todibo's representatives over a move to Manchester United, and he looks like the most likely replacement for Harry Maguire. Since we spoke last night, I've been doing a bit of a deep dive into the player because I hadn't really heard much about him until a month or so ago. And then obviously, as soon as he was linked to Manchester United, I started doing research around him. I started trying to just gather a bit more information about him. So I watched a couple of scout reports. I watched a couple of videos and all the rest of it. And apparently he ranked in the top 10% of centre-backs across all of Europe's top 5 leagues for tackles won, tackles and ball carries. So he is really high regarded if you are interested in stats. He's 6'3", very physical. He's fast as well. The only issue that I kind of found from when I did my initial research into this player was he seems to get quite a lot of red cards. Last season in the French league, he got 3 red cards in one season, which I'm not sure why. I don't know if it's just he's quite aggressive. I think his style of football is quite aggressive. He's kind of similar to Lisandro Martinez. Like, he literally goes on the pitch and goes for it. He doesn't shy away from a tackle. And I think a couple of times last year he had some bad red cards. So That's the only thing that's maybe a little bit of an issue. And there was even one match, right, when I was watching these videos where he got a red card within 9 seconds of the game. So that the match starts, kickoff happens, and he goes flying into a tackle within 9 seconds and gets sent off straight away. I mean, yeah. Imagine a centre-back partnership of this guy and Martinez. I honestly would fear for the opponents, I would. Hopefully maybe that can be ironed out, because 3 red cards in one season is pretty mental, isn't it? So that was the only thing that I could see in his game that was a little bit of a red flag. Otherwise, I think he looks like a quality player, only 23 years of age, French international, and I think he can definitely replace Varane eventually in the Manchester United first team. You know, he is one for the future. So yeah, I am excited about this deal. Do let me know in the comment section how you feel about Jean-Clair Todibo. Do you think he'll be a good signing? Do you think he'd be a good addition to the squad? Let me know if maybe there's somebody else that you would prefer to get instead. Yeah, let me know your thoughts, because I always do like seeing you guys' comments. I've just seen as well, apparently that red card that I just spoke about was the fastest ever red card in history. 9 seconds into a match and he got a red card. Yeah, so he literally has made history. He is the Guinness record holder for the fastest red card in world football. I don't really know what to say about that. Quite funny, but it is what it is. The deal will be worth somewhere around £40 million. That's what's being reported. He has a release clause of €48 million, which is about £40 million. When you consider that we're going to supposedly get around 30 to 35 for Maguire, I think it's a no-brainer. I really, really do. Apparently as well, at Nice at the moment, he's only on £21,000 per week. So this deal is just written in the stars. You know, he's on 21 grand a week. Manchester United would probably give him around 100 grand a week. Obviously, he's going to come for that. We don't have to overpay massively. You know, we've got Varane on, I think, 300 plus grand a week. Eventually, his contract will expire. Varane, he's got about 2 years left on his deal. Maybe then Jean-Clair Todibo comes in as his permanent replacement. Yeah, I think it's a good signing. I am excited about it now. I was a little bit negative to begin with. I thought maybe we should be going for Antonio Silva. Maybe we should be looking at someone like Tomori from AC Milan. There are plenty of other options out there that would have been ahead of this person, but that was purely just because I hadn't heard of him. And now that I've actually done some research, watched some videos, I do think he'll be a good signing. Yeah, so I'm excited about it. But let me know in the comment section what you think about Jean-Clair Todibo. Do you think it would be a good deal to do? Or is there somebody else that you'd prefer to bring in instead? Right, let's move on to the next topic, though. Let's keep things rolling on the show this morning. So just really, really quickly, the Wolves have just sacked their manager. So the new manager bounce has started before the season is even started. So if anybody doesn't know what that means, usually what happens when a manager gets sacked, the first game after the manager gets sacked, usually the team wins. There's some crazy stats on this. So whenever a manager gets sacked, usually their first game back in the Premier League, they then go on and win. So Wolves have just sacked their manager. And you're probably thinking, why are you telling me this? I don't care, Kieran. But for anybody who's been living under a rock, we play Wolves on Monday. So 3 days before the Premier League season starts, Wolves have just sacked their manager. So we will be playing Wolves on Monday, who have just sacked. So it'll be this whole new manager bounce thing. And apparently Gary O'Neill, who I'm not actually sure who that is, I assume he was the assistant. It says Gary O'Neill is expected to be in charge of Wolves against Manchester United on Monday. Julian Lopetegui has left Wolves ahead of their game with Manchester United on Monday. So yeah, they've sacked their manager. He's left the club. I don't know what's going on at Wolves. It's an absolute mess, isn't it? He was only there for 9 months. Let's just hope that this new manager bounce thing doesn't happen on Monday, because we have to beat Wolves on Monday. I'm confident we will. I'm not superstitious, so I think we will still beat them, but I just thought I'd bring it into the show because I thought it was quite funny. It's typical our luck, isn't it, that 3 days before the season, the first game of the year, that our first opponent's manager gets sacked. Anyway, it is what it is. Let's move on. Let's keep things rolling on the show this morning, and let's keep things positive. Right, let's talk about McTominay really, really quickly. So since we spoke last night, we've had an update surrounding Scott McTominay, and the story goes as follows. Manchester United are prepared to soften their £45 million valuation for Scott McTominay if West Ham or another club agree to £10 million in add-ons. This would include finishing in a European place or a domestic cup over the next 5 seasons. So obviously, they had a bid of 30 million rejected, didn't they, for Scott McTominay? Manchester United want 45. what's being reported this morning is that Manchester United would be willing to accept 45, but including add-ons. So that could be 35 million up front plus 10 in add-ons. And those add-ons, as I said, would be things like if West Ham got into a European place, if they won another trophy. Obviously, they won a trophy last season, didn't they? Over the next 5 seasons. I think that's way more realistic. And I think 35 million up front for Scott McTominay plus 10 million in add-ons. I think that's a fair deal. I have no issue with that whatsoever. Let me know in the comments section how you feel about that one, though. Do you think 45 million total package is a good price for Scott McTominay, or do you think we should be going for more? I'm happy with it, but let me know what you guys think. Let me have a look. Where are we? And then, keeping on the topic of Scott McTominay and Harry Maguire, another story has come out this morning saying that Manchester United have rejected West Ham's opening offers, but there is now common ground to be had. West Ham don't want to overpay, and United don't want to be stuck with 2 players who clearly are interested in playing for David Moyes. United are hopeful that West Ham will commit to the add-ons and get the deal over the line. So it does look like both of these deals now are completely relying on these add-ons. I'm fine with that. I have no issue with add-ons for both the Harry Maguire deal and for both the Scott McTominay deal. If we can do Maguire for 30 plus add-ons, maybe 5 million in add-ons, 10 million in add-ons, and then McTominay for 35 plus add-ons, I think that's fine. You know, they give us 65 million up front for the 2 of them, and then maybe there's 10 to 20 million pounds in add-ons combined. No issue with that whatsoever. I think that would be a really, really good bit of business. And then that allows us to take that 65 million to go and buy Amrabat, to go and buy Todibo, and then maybe you go in for a striker as well because of obviously the potential injury of Rasmus Hojlund. Let me know how you feel about that one. Are you happy about 65 million combined for the 2 players? Are you happy with some of the fee being, you know, add-ons? I think that's kind of what we have to take at this point. So, yeah. Keeping on the topic of Harry Maguire. Now, this is an interesting one. This is coming out from a journalist in the UK this morning saying that David Moyes has promised Harry Maguire that if he joins West Ham, he will become the captain. So it looks like Harry Maguire will be a captain again. There was a couple of people in the chat early on in the stream saying, why on earth were Manchester United making him the captain again? So I do apologise if that's a bit misleading, but the black and white of it is he has serious interest there from West Ham. David Moyes really, really respects him. David Moyes really, really values him, which obviously Manchester United don't, and Manchester United fans don't. Do you know what's funny, right? We did a video yesterday reporting that he was close to joining West Ham, which was being widely reported yesterday, okay? And since then, all of the comments in this video are from West Ham fans. Literally 10, 20, 30 comments from West Ham fans, all just like, we don't want him at the club, he's rubbish, like... And it was mad. I thought that West Ham fans would be quite excited about this signing, but honestly, I had so many people messaging me who were West Ham fans, just like, everybody doesn't want him. We don't want him. It's an absolute disgrace. Like, we're going to boo him. Like, it was actually quite mad. Yeah, but obviously, as soon as he leaves Manchester United, he's not our problem anymore. So I said to them, I said, obviously, I'm not a West Ham fan. You know my club better than you know your club better than I do. But I genuinely think Harry Maguire would do a really, really good job at West Ham. So I think it was a little bit negative for them all to just come in the comment section and say, you know, he's going to be rubbish and all the rest of it. But obviously, it's their club; they're entitled to their opinion. Yeah, right. Let's keep things rolling on the show this morning. Let's talk a bit about Mason Greenwood. So we have had quite a few updates about Mason Greenwood this morning. So bear with me on this one. It's quite a big story. So let me just jump straight into it. Right, where are we? So this is coming out this morning and it says, Mason is working harder than ever on the training pitch. He's desperate to return to the side as soon as possible and wants to put the last 18 months behind him. Talks about his future are now in the final phase and the players and the manager are behind him. The only thing that remains to be decided is whether he returns to first team action or he goes out on a season-long loan. And it goes on to say... Goes on to say that after becoming a father last month, Mason Greenwood is reluctant to relocate. So he wants to stay in Manchester or in the local area, which is, I guess, is completely fair enough. He's just had a child. You wouldn't want to leave the country or go somewhere else. The key bit of information that I took from this story that came out today is that Erik ten Hag and the Manchester United players are apparently all behind Mason Greenwood. Okay, and it even goes as saying that there is talk of Mason Greenwood being buddied up with Manchester United teammates. So he has a support network around him. The club want to ease him back gently and don't want him to feel isolated. So it really does look like Manchester United are doing everything they can to get Mason Greenwood back at Manchester United. I know that will excite some of you and that will upset others. Obviously, you're entitled to your opinion on this. I know it's a difficult one to talk about. The main thing that you have to understand here is they're still deciding whether it's going to be a permanent coming back into the team or whether it's going to be a loan. That's the bit that is yet to be defined. But it looks almost impossible that he's going to be released from his contract. It looks like he will still technically be a Manchester United player in some capacity. It's just whether, we send him out to a championship club or we send him out to the under-21s for a season. That's the bit that's yet to be confirmed. I still feel like maybe putting him in the under-21s for 6 months would be good for him, just to slowly bring him back. But yeah, I'm not really too sure. My stance has always been the same on this. From a sporting perspective, I think it's an unnecessary distraction, but it looks like the decision has already been made and it looks like he will be returning. We're just waiting to find out in what format that return will be. But let me know in the comment section how you feel about this one. What do you think would be the best course of method for Mason Greenwood? Do you think he should leave? Do you think he should be put straight back into the first team and be playing, immediately? Let me know what you think. The one thing I will say is, though, you do have to remember that he hasn't played football for 18 months, okay? He's only just started training again privately with his own personal trainers. So he's not played any professional football for over 18 months. That's a hell of a long time. Hell of a long time. And I was reading a couple of stories about this yesterday, and apparently, generally, for somebody, say somebody had been injured for that length of time, and hadn't played football, it would generally take around 3 to 6 months for them to get back to like Premier League match fitness again. So even if they announced today that he's going to be put back into the team, right? You probably wouldn't see him playing football for like 3 to 6 months, I don't think, purely just because it would take him that long to build up match fitness. It would take him that, to be sharp and ready to play in the physicality and the demands of the Premier League. So you do have to consider that. We can't be saying Mason Greenwood's going to, be our saviour this season, because he's simply not. Even if he does come back, he's not going to be available to play. And we do need to go and get another striker, I think. That is my priority position right now. I definitely think we need to go and get another striker immediately because of obviously this news around Rasmus Hojlund potential injury. But yeah, let me know in the comment section what you would do with Mason Greenwood. Would you send him out to the reserves? Would you loan him out? Let me know what you think. I'm always really, really keen to see your opinions. Obviously, as long as you're respectful and you don't, say anything, like, just be respectful and I'll always value people's opinions. Right, let's keep things moving. Just a really quick one on the West Ham situation. Now, I know we're not a Manchester City channel, but it is still relevant because it ultimately bolsters our position. Manchester City have apparently just put in a bid of £70 million for Lucas Paqueta from West Ham. I mean, that is absolutely mental, isn't it? So West Ham obviously have sold Declan Rice. They've obviously just sold Skamaka. They've got about 130 million already from player sales this summer. And now Manchester City have just gone in £70 million for Lucas Paqueta, and the bid has been rejected. The reason I'm bringing this up is it strengthens our hand. If West Ham are being all like, oh, we're only going to give you 30, you just turn around to them and say, I'm not being funny, but you've just sold Declan Rice for 105. You sold Skamaka for 30. And now you're about to sell Lucas Paqueta to Man City for 70 million plus. Like, they're going to desperately need players. So it really does strengthen our hand. And it does make me think that both the Maguire and McTominay deal will go through. I'm not really too sure about this Lucas Paqueta guy. Like, he seems all right, but is he really good enough to play for Manchester City? I'm not sure. But yeah, I thought I'd just bring that into the chat because I thought it was quite interesting. And I thought some of you might like to hear about it. Where are we? Right, let's move on to the next topic though. Let's keep things rolling on the show this morning. If you are just joining us now, please do smash a like on the video and please do subscribe to the channel if you are new. It really, really helps the channel grow, so do get involved. We're live every single day at 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. UK time, so do get involved in the community. Yeah, really, really nice community we've got here, so do please get involved. Now, we're going to rattle through some outgoings really, really quickly because I don't want to spend too much time on this because I am conscious that we have spoken about these people before, so I want to keep it quick. So we've got about 6 or 7 players that look set to leave the club this summer, okay? I'm going to rattle through them really, really quickly. So let's start with Fred. Fred, reported by Sky Sports yesterday, Fulham are set to put in a bid for him. He's got an offer from Saudi Arabia, but Fulham have apparently now entered the race and will put in a bid for Fred's signature, as per Sky Sports reports. Donny van de Beek is on the brink of moving to Real Sociedad. It will be a loan with an obligation to buy. Originally, it was going to be with the option to buy, but Manchester United have insisted that it's an obligation to buy. We're not sure at this point how much the obligation to buy will be, but my guess would be somewhere between 10 and 20 million pounds. In relation to Brandon Williams, he's another who will be leaving the club. Leeds United have apparently inquired for his signature, but an official bid has not gone in yet. Eric Bailly, he's had 2 offers from Saudi Arabia, one from Al Nassr, obviously where Cristiano Ronaldo plays. We're still waiting to see how much that deal was worth and if another club comes in. At the moment, it looks like Eric Bailly is seeing what's available on the market. He's waiting to see whether a better offer comes in, because at the end of the day, he probably could do better than going to Saudi Arabia. You know, he's only 27. So, yeah, we'll keep you updated on that one. Dean Henderson, again, looks like he will be loaned out to Nottingham Forest, but there is a slight issue with that. Obviously, he did have a really bad injury last season. He had a thigh injury and was out for around 4 to 5 months. The issue that lies here is apparently Nottingham Forest want to do a really, really aggressive medical, let's call it. So more aggressive than what a normal one would be. And Manchester United don't want that to happen. Manchester United are worried that if they do this really aggressive medical on Dean Henderson, that it might aggravate his injury and might actually make it worse. So Manchester United are ultimately saying no to this, which for me is a red flag. If I'm Nottingham Forest and, you know, a club that you're trying to bring a player off says you can't do the medical that, you know, that they want to do, like, that's definitely a red flag for me. So we will keep you updated on that one, on the Dean Henderson one. Obviously, Dean Henderson is Nottingham Forest's #1 target, even though they have just signed Matt Turner from Arsenal. Fabrizio has reported that they still do want Dean Henderson. So that deal is still very much on. It's just a case of, can they agree the loan to buy option and all of this stuff, because that was the bit that was holding up the deal. So we've had Dean Henderson, Fred, Donny van der Beek. Obviously, we've already spoken about Maguire and McTominay, Eric Bailly, and Dean Henderson. So yeah, that's all of them. That's all of the outgoings that we have. I think it's about 6 or 7 players. I think we can raise a really, really good bit of money from these people. I do. I think we can raise around 100 to 150 million. And I think that will massively bolster our chances this season, because for me, to start this year, we need a defender, we need a striker, and we need a midfielder, maybe even 2 midfielders. I'm going with this, and I want to open this up to the community. I want to open this up to the chat. I want you to let me know what signings you think we need to make before the season ends. Let me know in the comment section. Obviously, try and be realistic. Try and only give names of people we're linked to or people within our actual reach, because otherwise it's just a bit hypothetical, isn't it? So I'm going with a striker. I would go with Mohamed Kudus as our striker. That would be my #1 priority. He can play centre forward, right wing, and centre attacking midfielder. So I'm going with Mohamed Kudus. I'm going with Todibo to replace Harry Maguire as the centre-back. I'm going with Sofyan Amrabat to replace Fred/Donny. And then I'm also, if we sell Scott McTominay, I'm maybe going for 1 more midfielder. That's the one where I'm still a bit unsure about. I mean, Romeo Lavia would be a good option. Moises Caicedo would obviously be a good option, but they're going to cost a lot of money. I would probably say at this point, we'll have to wait and see on that one, because it looks like Lavia will go to Liverpool. It looks like Moises Caicedo will go to Chelsea. So I think 4 signings are required if we sell all of these people that we've discussed. You know, if 6 or 7 people leave the club before now and the end of the window, we need to bring in another 4 players, I think, because we only have 1 striker, Rasmus Hojlund. If Maguire goes, we need a new centre-back. If Scott McTominay goes, we need to replace him. And if Fred and Donny goes, we need to replace them. So it's pretty straightforward, really. But do let me know in the comment section, what do you think we need? Maybe some of you think we need a right-back. Maybe some of you think we need a left-back. Obviously, Malacia is injured, so I would understand if some of you did think that a left-back was required. But do let me know in the comment section. I always do like to see what you guys think in relation to, you know, where you think we're at this point, how much more players we need, and all the rest of it. It does always interest me to see. Welcome Red Devils Down Under, who is the latest member of the Daily Red Devils Members Club. Thank you so much for joining, and welcome. If you do want to join the Members Club, I'll put a link in the chat now for it, or you can hit the $. I think it's $2.99 a month. It obviously really, really does help support the channel. You get a badge next to your name. You get priority super chats and all the rest of it. So yeah, if you are in a position to join the Members Club, please do get involved. And if you're not, please do make sure you subscribe. Obviously, any support in any way is, of course, massively appreciated. Okay, so we've got a comment coming in. So somebody says, what is your 2023-2024 Premier League winner prediction, top 6 and top scorer? We did do a video on this on the channel a couple of days ago, but I don't think many people saw it. So I will go through it really, really quickly. So I've gone with this for the Premier League table. I'm going Manchester City to win it, Arsenal 2nd, Manchester United 3rd, Liverpool 4th, Newcastle 5th, and Aston Villa 6th. Let me know in the comment section, though, what are your predictions for the Premier League season? Where do you think people are going to finish? And who do you think the top goal scorer will be? I think I think Marcus Rashford will be our top goal scorer this season in the Premier League. And I think we're going to finish third, but I think we're going to win the FA Cup. We're going to win the FA Cup, finish third, and I think we'll have a good run in the Champions League, but I don't think we'll win it. But you never know in the Champions League. You never know. Inter Milan got to the Champions League final last year, and I think we'd beat Inter Milan. So, yeah, you definitely never know in relation to, you know, cup competitions. Anything can happen. But do let me know in the comments section what your kind of table would be. Thank you for that question. Really, really good question. So we've got a couple of people putting in comments as well. Glenn says we haven't got a striker. Yeah, I understand people are really, really frustrated about this Rasmus Hojlund thing. I do get that. Somebody says, would you sell Dalot and get upgrade Frimpong and keep Aaron Wan-Bissaka? I'm not sure. I do like Frimpong, but from what I can see, he's not very good defensively. He's just very good attackingly. He's pretty much a right winger, Frimpong, isn't he? But he does play as like a right wing back. I would definitely keep Aaron Wan-Bissaka 100%. If anybody missed the show last night, Manchester United are currently negotiating a new deal with Aaron Wan-Bissaka. So it looks like Aaron Wan-Bissaka will be staying at Manchester United. Erik ten Hag really, really likes him. And I'm happy about that. I think Aaron Wan-Bissaka is a really, really good player. And I think he's definitely someone we should be keeping. So, yeah, Aaron Wan-Bissaka looks set to stay at Manchester United. Dalot did just sign a new contract, I think. I think it was until 2029 or something. So, Dalot just signed a new 6-year deal. Red Devils Down Under, thank you for your super chat, my friend. He says, I'm here to blow my kids' inheritance. Go, go, Man United. Well, thank you so much for the support. Please don't blow all of your kids' inheritance, because I'd feel absolutely terrible if that happened. But again, massive thank you for joining the Members Club, and thank you for your support, my friend. Yeah, people getting in their predictions for the season. Yeah, so for me, I do like Jeremy Frimpong, but I'm not sure whether this deal will happen. I know Manchester United have been linked to him for, since Ten Hag came in? I know last season we were linked to him loads, weren't we? I've heard nothing about Frimpong this season, so I'm not going to sit here and pretend that there's some story about Frimpong that, you know, that we've all missed out on. There simply isn't. If anything does come out about him, of course, we will bring that to you. But as it stands, it looks like the plan for the right-back position is Wan-Bissaka and it is Diogo Dalot. Both of them have got new contracts or will have new contracts. So, yeah. There's a bit of breaking news coming out here, actually, on the Scott McTominay situation. Let me just bring this to you really, really quickly. So this is coming from David Ornstein, who obviously writes for The Athletic, and he is reporting that West Ham have agreed to sign Edson Alvarez. Now they're looking to complete the signing of James Ward-Prowse. So the reason I bring that up is, does that now affect our sale of Scott McTominay? You know, if they've just signed Edson Alvarez, who's a midfielder, and they're about to sign James Ward-Prowse, does that mean that they then don't go in for Scott McTominay? I'm not sure. Let me know what you think about that one. Let me know if you are worried. Yeah, I at this moment in time, I think it's more likely that McTominay will stay and Maguire will go. I can't imagine both of them going, but let's just keep our fingers crossed. Let's hope they do both leave. But I just can see James Ward-Prowse going to I've completely lost my bit there. James Ward-Prowse moving from Southampton to West Ham. Andrew says, will Maguire and McTominay leave for West Ham? We did speak about them quite a lot at the beginning of the show, so just rewind back to the beginning if you've missed any of that. Lots of people in the chat getting their opinions in about Mason Greenwood. That's fine, obviously. Everybody is more than welcome to do that. Some people in the chat saying we should go for Theo Fernandez. I'm not sure about Theo Fernandez. Like, obviously, he's a really good player, but have we been linked to him? How much is he going to cost you? Like 80 million? 25 years of age, French international, playing for AC Milan. Like, he's going to cost you probably 50 to 80 million. I think Manchester City have been linked to him as well. Obviously, if Kyle Walker leaves. So somebody in the chat has said, do you think Leonardo or Taremi is a must now that Hojlund is injured? Yeah, I do. I do think we need to get another striker, 100%. As I said a minute ago, my 4 priorities, one of them would be a striker. I would even prioritise a striker over a centre-back. I think we have plenty of options in the centre-back position. Going into the season with a potentially injured Rasmus Hojlund. Now, I know a lot of people got really upset after the video yesterday. I know there was a lot of hysteria in the fan base. Loads of people were really, really worried about this story, saying that Rasmus Hojlund has some sort of back injury, a similar injury to what Marcus Rashford had. And if it's overstressed, it could be really, really bad. Now, I just have to have faith that Manchester United know what they're doing and that whatever it is that is wrong with him is manageable. That's what the stories are coming out as saying. But the very, very bare minimum is we all know that we can't overplay this player. The reason why Martial is injured all the time now, I think, is because he was overplayed under Ole. He was definitely injured, the same as Rashford. Both of them have come out after that season and said that I think Marcus Rashford was playing with a broken shoulder for like half of the season. You know? Like, that shouldn't happen. We shouldn't be forcing our young players who are injured to play simply because we don't have any other options. So yeah, for me, I think we need another striker. And not because I don't think Rasmus Hojlund's good enough, but purely because I want to make sure that whatever this injury is that he has, that we give him all of the support, all of the time that he needs, and then that allows him to come back 100%. And it means that we ultimately don't just completely destroy another player, because we've seen that happen to Martial. We've arguably seen that to Rashford until last season. You know, he hasn't looked his best for a very, very long time. And obviously last year was a good season. But before that, it looked like Rashford had kind of really, really dropped off. And all of the people were saying that that was purely because he was overplayed. So it's essential for me. We bring in a new striker. We make sure that Rasmus Hojlund is able to nurse back this injury slowly. So yeah, for me, I'd go with Mohamed Kudus or Marcus Leonardo from Santos. And if we're thinking of somebody else, those are two younger profile strikers. Mohamed Kudus obviously is very, very young. He's 23 years of age. Marcus Leonardo is only 20 years of age. So ideally, I would like to go for a young profile striker. But if we're looking for a stopgap, if we're looking for somebody a little bit more experienced, somebody who can just hold on for a couple of seasons, I would go with Taremi from Porto. He's 31 years of age. There are quite a lot of other clubs interested in him. Apparently Tottenham have inquired. Apparently Inter Milan have inquired as well. So there is competition for Taremi. He would probably be my third choice option out of those three. I'd go Mohamed Kudus number 1, Marcus Leonardo number 2, and then Taremi number 3, purely just based on ability and age. So let me know in the comments section who you would get as a striker. Are you worried now about the Rasmus Hojlund situation? Do you think we need to bring in a striker to ultimately bridge the gap until he is 100% match fit again? The season starts in 3 days and we still don't have a striker. I mean, we technically do. We've bought one, but he's not able to play. So I definitely think we need to go out and get something done. But at the same time, I do trust Erik ten Hag. If he thinks that Sancho can be this false nine, if he thinks that Rashford can work as a striker this season, obviously we do have to have faith in him. We have to hope that he knows what he's doing. And Erik ten Hag did so well last season that he does have my trust. I just don't want him to be set up to fail. You know, if he fails, you know that it's going to be all of the Sky and all the rest of it. They're not going to be blaming the Glazers. They're not going to say, oh, you didn't get another striker. They'll say, oh, he spent 400 million. He's lost 5 games in a row. He should be sacked. Do you know what I mean? Because that's what the mainstream journalists do. After a couple of bad results, if we lose 2 games in a row, they'll be saying, this isn't acceptable at Manchester United. He spent 400 million. You know what it's like, don't you, with Sky Sports, BT Sports, all of them. They're very, very quick to judge a Manchester United manager because ultimately it gets clicks, it gets likes, it generates hype. So yeah, I want Erik ten Hag not to be set up to fail. So yeah, that's my take on it. But let me know in the comment section what you think. Who would you go for? Let me know, as I always look to see it. So we've got a story coming out as well, actually, in the last couple of minutes, really, really quickly, saying that apparently Nottingham Forest are now... Oh, no. So apparently Dean Henderson is still recovering from a thigh injury. So it says Dean Henderson is recovering from a thigh injury and Forest have been eager to sign him on a permanent basis, but the deal has been put on hold while he returns to fitness. The report claims United are reluctant to risk further setback to Henderson, so they're not willing to sanction a move yet. So I think what's actually happened here is, you know, I mentioned earlier about this medical and all the rest of it. Apparently Dean Henderson is still not match fit. So obviously he can't do a medical, because if he does a medical when he's injured, not only would he fail it, but it could make his injury worse. So that's what's going on here with Dean Henderson. So it is quite good to get this bit of clarity this morning on why it's taken so long. And it does seem that it's not just incompetence from Manchester United. It's purely because he's injured, and you can't do a medical whilst you're injured, although Rasmus Hojlund's just done a medical. So that blows my mind a bit, but I don't want to obsess over that too much. We've got another super chat coming in here from Yoni4416. He says, Hojlund will be okay. They are aware, unlike Rashford's injury, they will sort him out. He's only 20, signed the Brazilian Leonardo. I agree with you, my friend. I do. I'm feeling not as bad as I was last night about this Hojlund injury. Last night I was really, really concerned. Literally the story broke 5 minutes before we were set to go live. So my head was all over the place. We went live. And I was trying to just process it all at the same time. And obviously, when something's so fresh and you haven't had time to actually sit and think about it, it is quite difficult to talk about it. But since the video last night, I have kind of come to terms with it, and I think, as Yoni says on his super chat, the key thing is that we just sign another player so we don't put too much pressure on Rasmus Hojlund. He's only 20 years of age. I do think he's going to go on to be a world-class player. I do think he can achieve all of the things that we expect him to achieve, you know, but that can only happen if we handle him in the correct way. Now, I know some of you are going to be sitting there screaming at your screen saying, why the hell have we just bought this player if we're having to already handle him before he's already played any football? But Erik ten Hag wanted him. Manchester United scouting department, all the rest of it have regardless of whatever this injury thing is, they've picked him. They've said that he is the right profile. He was Erik ten Hag's #1 target. So we have to trust that this other injury thing is just a side issue and it's not as big a deal as people are making out. But yeah, as Yoni says, he would like us to sign the Brazilian Marcos Leonardo from Santos. Yeah, that would be a good deal. It would. I would be happy with that. I would. Right, we've only got a couple more minutes left of the show, so do get a couple of questions in and I will read some out. Somebody says, did you see the latest Greenwood training video where Greenwood people threaten to break journalist camera? Do we need this aura around Manchester United? Yes, he is good, but he will get harassed every week. I didn't see that, my friend, no. I did see that, but I mean, I'm not trying to justify that. I haven't seen a video of him trying to break cameras, but imagine being like him and people just literally following you around constantly. I know it's not acceptable to do whatever you're saying he did, but yeah. I've already said my stance on Mason Greenwood. You know what I think, so yeah. He is human, isn't he? Like, what have we got? So somebody says, I can't see Jadon Sancho feature heavily this season. Plus, I think Kudos will be good as he is versatile and plays a striker and right winger, giving Anthony competition. Yeah, I agree with you, my friend. I do. David says, Rasmus has passed his medical. This was just what the scan picked up. Okay, that makes sense. RMCF says, Chelsea are selling Kepa to Bayern, so we need to sell Henderson to Chelsea. I don't imagine Chelsea will go for Henderson. I think they're linked to the goalkeeper from Brighton, aren't they? Sanchez. I think they've already signed Sanchez from Brighton, so I don't think that will happen. Red Devils Down Under says, are we not signing another striker because of Greenwood's potential return? I think you've hit the nail on the head there, my friend. You know that the Glazers don't like to spend money. They know that they've got this 50 to 100 million pounds asset, Mason Greenwood, sat there, being paid by the club, remember. He still is a Manchester United player. He's still being paid. And I do genuinely just think that they see Mason Greenwood as this new replacement. I do. I think he is the option for them, isn't it? They don't have to buy a striker. They bring Mason Greenwood back. Easy. So yeah, I do agree with you. And I think that's a really, really intelligent comment. Where are we? Joe says, Roma had an interest on Marcos Leonardo. We should get him and build our team for the future around Garnacho, Hojlund, Pellistri and Todibo. Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I definitely do like the way that we're moving in the sense of bringing in these younger profile players. I think it's really, really exciting because there were so many years where we brought in people like Cavani, people like Falcao, even when we brought back Ronaldo, and it's like, it's so short term. And I do think with Erik ten Hag, we're building for the future. We're investing in a manager who I think could be here for the next 5, 10, 15 years. I genuinely think that with Erik ten Hag. I didn't really think that with Jose Mourinho, with Louis van Gaal. I saw them as stopgaps. Obviously, I wanted them to succeed, but in the bottom of my heart, I kind of always did think that those managers wouldn't be here for that long. Whereas with Erik ten Hag, even if we have a shaky season this year, I would still say that I 100% back him. I do. I think he's proven to us already why he's good enough to be the Manchester United player. We've seen so many changes. And if the transfer window goes the way it's looking like, you know, if Maguire goes, Donny goes, Fred goes, like we've not seen that ruthlessness since Sir Alex was here. We genuinely haven't. None of the other managers we had the ruthlessness, or they didn't have the power over the board and over the Glazers, because it seems like Erik ten Hag has won them over. I don't know whether it's because he's won them a trophy. I don't know whether it's because maybe they think he's performing so well on the pitch that it's shutting up the fans, you know? Imagine if we had Louis van Gaal or Jose Mourinho at the moment, right? We were playing terrible football. There was all of this toxicity around Pogba and Mourinho, and then you also had the sales stuff going on at the same time. Imagine how much more toxic it would be than it is now. And I do think that's how the Glazers have managed to hold on for this amount of time, because of how positive it is on the football pitch, it's kind of buying them some time. So I can see why they're 100% behind Erik ten Hag. I can see that, and I agree, I'm 100% behind him. Bob the Builder says, will there be protests at Old Trafford? Yes, I believe there will be protests this Monday for the game against Wolves being organised by the 1958 group. Obviously, when we get more information about that, we will let you know. And there also is a protest at the Nottingham Forest game. So it's a 60-minute sit-in. And if anybody doesn't know what that means, at the end of the match, when the final whistle goes, the fans are going to stay in the stadium for 60 minutes and refuse to leave in protest, obviously, with the Glazers out banners and all the rest of it. So for 60 minutes after the game, the fans will stay in the stadium after Nottingham Forest and protest. At the moment, I don't know of any other protests than that, but I assume it will just keep happening and happening until the Glazers go, because the message is clear from all of the fans. It's Glazers out, full sale only. So until that happens, I assume the protest will just keep rumbling on and on and on and on until hopefully they go, and hopefully they do go, because otherwise it's going to do my head in. Right, I'm going to wrap the show up there, guys. It feels like a really, really good place to end the video. Thank you so much to everyone who has joined us this morning. I really, really do appreciate you all. Please do smash a like on the video before you go. Please do subscribe to the channel if you are new. We will be back at 6 p.m. for another interactive show like this one. But if anything breaks during the day, of course, we will go live as always. So do smash a like on the video. Do subscribe and hit the notification bell. This has been Daily Red Devil. I've been Kieran, and I'll catch you guys later. Lots of love and peace out.